There is a particular hush that falls over a room the moment someone is singled out. An invisible spotlight lands, and for a few heartbeats, the world narrows to a single exposed self. We have all felt that hush in different forms, on a stage, at a dinner table, in a group chat. And what I want to explore today is why some people, especially women in these moments, choose public humiliation as a tool, and what that choice reveals about fear, power, and belonging. When a woman raises her voice at a man in front of others, it often looks like anger, like dominance, or worse, like an unnecessary spectacle. But beneath the raised tone and the sharp words, there is usually a story. Sometimes it is a reaction to repeated dismissal, the small erasures that build up until one loud breath carries the weight of many silences. Sometimes it is a defensive signal, meant to stop a pattern that private conversation failed to change. And sometimes it is a test. Will the group side with the one who speaks, or will it side with the one who is being shamed? In public, there are witnesses, and witnesses can feel like judges or like shields. Humiliation in public is both dramatic and efficient. It forces attention, it changes social calculations, and it redraws relationships in a visible way. For the person doing the humiliating, there is an immediate crude currency: attention, validation, an assertion of boundaries. For the person being shamed, there is a sudden collapse of dignity, a sting that can echo long after the room has dispersed. For bystanders, there is a choice to watch, to laugh, to avert their eyes, or to step in. Each reaction writes the rest of the story. Why then does this dynamic often fall along gendered lines? Culture has taught many men to minimize their discomfort, and taught many women to be hyper-aware of social risk. Women learn early that being polite is a protective strategy, and when politeness is ignored, the escalation to public confrontation can feel like the only language that is heard. Some women also hold a complex relationship with vulnerability. Exposing pain privately may not be safe, but exposing someone publicly creates a circuit breaker. Brutal, yes, but immediate. This is not to excuse cruelty. Public humiliation corrodes trust and models a way of relating that we rarely want to inherit. It substitutes spectacle for conversation and fuels the social appetite for punishment. It can also be performative, a way to claim righteousness while avoiding messy introspection. The person calling out may feel justified, and the crowd may feel entertained, but the underlying issues, mistrust, woundedness, unmet boundaries, remain unresolved. There is a gentler path, though it requires more of us. Boundaries can be set without spectacle. Anger can be translated into clear requests. Accountability can be practiced with compassion. When we choose to speak privately first, we give the other person a chance to change without losing face. When we do speak publicly, we can name behaviors and impacts rather than assign character. When witnesses refuse to turn humiliation into entertainment, they change the incentives for spectacle. What if we held two truths at once? That a person is anger can be real and necessary, and that public shaming is a blunt instrument that often harms more than it heals? Holding that tension asks us to slow down. It asks the person in pain to consider the long-term cost of a loud moment, and it asks the bystanders to consider whether applause is loyalty or cruelty. It asks the person being called out to listen, to take responsibility where it is due, and to repair when harm was caused. At the heart of this is a quieter longing. To be seen without being destroyed. To be heard without being erased. To enforce limits without turning another into a spectacle. If we can practice that, if we can keep dignity and accountability in the same sentence, then the hush that falls over a room can become a space for attention rather than annihilation. If this touched something for you, pause and reflect. Where have you witnessed or taken part in public humiliation, and what might you do differently next time? Share your thoughts below. Your perspective matters, and the conversation is how we learn to go softer with one another.